Okay, so as I said at the end of the last video, no sense in watching me just type out the same thing over and over again. So I made a script text 3, script text 4. 3, of course, goes on to object 3, and 4 goes on to object 4. And it's the same 3 lines, system.collections, then a line establishing a list variable, and then assigning that list variable to the text mesh. So we're going to run this. Now each list only has one value, which doesn't make it much of a list. In this one, we're going to look at adding more values and therefore becoming a list, and we're going to look at how to make these clickable. So while we're talking about that, let's do that. So highlight the 4 objects, the 4 text objects, but not the question one. Click on Add Component, Physics 2D, since we're in the 2D environment. If you're doing this in the 3D environment, then it'll just be regular physics. That's the only modification you have to do, whether it's 2D or 3D. All the other code will work. And you make this a box collider. Set it to a trigger. And now let's separate these a little bit more, because now that we have box colliders, we want to make sure that people aren't accidentally clicking on the wrong one. Humans are prone to errors, so give it a little bit more space in between them. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create another variable. So let's make this public static. Has to be static, that way it's accessible to the other scripts and the other objects. Public static, let's call this rand question, so random question. Oops, sorry, public static int. Forgot the type. So public static int rand question. So now what we're going to do is, as this suggests, we're going to make this random. So in the update section, rand question is equal to random dot range. Now the random range, okay, these numbers are going to correspond to the positions in the list. Right now there's only one position, position 0. We're about to add a few more. So we'll say 0, 5. So with every frame, this is going to create a random number. So obviously we don't need to do it every frame. We need it to do it once and then not do it again until it's time to select another question. So we'll put something in there in a minute. All right, so that is position 1. So to add a new position, just add a comma. Since it's a string, it needs to be in quotes. And we'll call this, this is second question. And again, we just want to make sure that this is working. We'll put in actual questions a little bit later. This is third question. Comma. So this is fourth question. Okay. That's enough for now. Now what we want to do is, for now, we just want to test this functionality. We just want to test to make sure that we can indeed go through these. So what we're going to do is we'll wipe this out now. We'll just remark it out in case we need it and bring it down here. Now this is what I was talking about. This, rather than being a constant, is going to become this. So I think it's starting to come together now. You choose a random number, and then, okay, the text mesh is going to be equal to this variable, and whatever value is in this position of this variable. So say it's random range 0. Well, this is position 1, so this will be that. It will be, the text will be set to that. Random range, if it comes out to number 1, then it would be this. Random range 2 comes out to this. Now, right now, this is 0 through 5. The upper number, despite what the text says, I don't think is actually inclusive. So this is only going to do 0 through 4, which is 5 choices. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll add one more. This is 5th. Now, to make sure that it's working, in the update section, we're going to put in debug.log, and we're just going to put in questions, rand question. So what's going to happen is, even though this gets updated, it's going to be too fast to read. It's just going to flicker. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this into the debug log. In fact, yeah, let's just shut that off for the moment. We're going to dump this into the debug log, and that way down here we'll be able to look at the history of what comes up. So we'll save that, run it. Okay, and you can see it's changing at the bottom there. So let's look at the log. This is 5th, this is 5th, this is 2nd, this is 1st, this is 4th, 4th, 5th, 4th, 2nd, 2nd, 1st. So you can see that it is indeed cycling through the choices, right? But like we said, we don't want to do this as it stands because basically what's happening is it would change too fast, and you only want one random choice, and then the question is asked into a choice is made. So that means we need to do something else in here. So what we're going to do is, let's set this as -1 to begin with. That's a value that will not come up on its own, okay? So now what we'll do is remark this out, and we'll say if rand question is greater than -1, then set it to this. But this is still being randomized. So that means we have to do something else then. So if rand question equals -1, then do a random range. So it starts off as -1. So the first frame, okay, it's equal to -1, so go ahead and do a random 1. Now it will no longer be equal to -1. It will be greater than -1, and this will indeed happen. Next frame, since it's not equal to -1, it will not randomize again, and it will stay as this. But, okay, this is going to get displayed. Actually, no, that's fine. It's not going to. It's going to refresh it every frame, but I don't think that will be an issue. So let's go ahead and run it. Okay, so this is 5th. This is 3rd. This is 4th. So that easy, you've created randomization. Now, still, it doesn't look like much because they're not real questions, but I think you get what we're doing now. So now what we have to do is we need this to then be transferred to all these. So similarly, we want to get rid of this here. bring it down to here. Actually, let's just copy this. I think that should do it. So if random question, now because it's a static variable, we have to say where that's coming from. It's coming from text control because it's defined in this script, text control. So text control.rand question. And again, we have to put text control here. Actually, I guess we have to make a bunch of changes because this goes here. So I don't think we'll copy and paste it again. Probably too confusing because there's so many changes have to be made. All right. Now, next is we only have one choice here. So just like this, we need 5 choices. So first choice, second, third, fourth, comma, fifth. Now actually, we're going to stop there. Because what should now happen is now that this is being used to choose this and this, that is the question and the first answer, they should now match. So if this is first, this should now say first. If this says, say, third, this one will be third. So let's run it like this and make sure that's working. Fifth, fifth. Third, third. First, first. There you go. So they are synchronized. So now it's just going to be rinse and repeat. So originally I put this as second choice, but that's going to be confusing. So we'll go back to first choice, comma second, comma third. Whoops, sorry about that. Comma fourth, comma, oops, comma fifth. Okay, so now that one has 5 values. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to block this out. I'm going to copy this. Going to put that variable in there, so it's text control and the name of the variable. We said it was rand question, and that should do it. And that again is if text control dot rand question is greater than -1. So if I didn't miss anything, they should not be synchronized. So fifth, 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 fourth, 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 first, first, first. Now, this is what I was talking about in the last video where when I was writing this as third and fourth, I didn't want to confuse, is it sequentially in the list or sequentially choice A, B, C, and D? So my apologies if there was any confusion there. So, I think I'm going to end there for this video, and again, just like last time, it's rinse and repeat. You made this change to the text control. You made it to text 1. You made it to text 2. Just copy it onto 3 and 4. So add your placeholders for 3 and 4. Okay. remark this out. Suppose you could delete it, but I'm just remarking it out at the moment. And then add this, and just make the changes as far as text control.ran question is greater than -1, and type that out. So put that into 3 and 4, and that should do it for this lesson. And then we're almost done. So in the next video, we're going to put in some real questions. We already made these clickable as far as we put on the collider box. We're just going to put in a little code that says, okay, what to do when you click on it. And that is going to be it. It's just going to compare your click to whatever the right one is. So that's the one thing that's really missing, is we're not really tracking what the right answer is yet. Okay, so that should do it for now.